Hello, savvy listeners. I am excited you are taking the time to invest in yourself today. Savvy, the business podcast, will show you how your daily habits can create your own platform. Experts will share solutions and efficient tips to create a roadmap just for you. One thing that can make this happen: change your habits, change your success. Welcome to Savvy, the business podcast.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me on Savvy the Business Podcast. I am Melitta Campbell, your host. And today we're going to talk a little bit, more about coaching and some of the things to really get you started and boosting, you back into where you need to, go. As we know, with COVID, so many people have been shutting in, business is slow. We're just not getting the traffic that we're used to getting. So this conversation, hopefully you will, find some pointers, some tips in that to help you get back up running and where you could, try to rebuild your business and get back to where you used to be, if not even better. So we're going to go ahead and get started with my guest. And she's coming in all the way from Switzerland. Miss Melitta Campbell, and she is a business coach for entrepreneurs. And we're going to hit a lot of great topics today about her and some of the things that she do. So, but what I'm going to do before we really get started and get into all the things that she has to offer you, we're going to read a little bit about her bio just so I can, you know who you're listening to. So, Melitta Campbell is a business coach, inspiring speaker, best-selling author, and host of the Driven Female Entrepreneur podcast. She works alongside female founders, guiding them step by step as they grow confident business owners with a clear blueprint to consistent clients, fulfillment, and time freedom. Her experience comes from 25 years of working with businesses to create growth strategies that align with their values and match their ambitions. While her expertise lies in business planning, communications, and marketing, having been her own boss for 12 years, Melitta understands that being successful takes a lot more than a perfect plan. You also need the skills and confidence to implement it. Therefore, Melitta's coaching programs feature a personalized approach that helps clients build an entrepreneurial mindset and understand the no fail principles of building a profitable business. I love the way that that is ending, a no fail principle of building a profitable business. So thank you, Melitta, for coming on and joining us today.
You're welcome. I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely. So tell us, first, let's get into the no fail. Let's talk a little bit about that and why that is so crucial, especially today with everything that's going on in the world.
And I think these are uh, principles that people often miss in their business. And for that reason, people tend to have all the puzzle pieces they need, but they're not quite coming together to build traction and results in their business. And it's the business foundations that I find most often are missing. And like you're saying, what I really focus on doing is helping business align their strategies to their vision and values. And that's so important. And I think that's one thing companies don't really uh, think about enough is what are they trying to achieve? What is special about them? What's their big vision? And what do they want to, how do they want to use their talents and expertise to make a difference in the world? And then to look deeply into who are their ideal clients and what are they trying to achieve? So beyond the demographic of, or they're 25 to 35 males that go to the gym and live in this area, what are they, why do they do that? What is it that compels them? And what are the problems that keep them up at night that you can solve in a way that's new or different, or an approach that's going to connect with your clients in a different way. So to understand those two things, your values and your vision, your purpose, and the ideals and aspirations of your clients, and where those two overlap, then to build your value proposition and all of your product suite, your services, the way you do business, everything from that point of view. And I think now is uh, more than ever, it's really important to take that step back and really go back to, why did you start your business? What are you trying to achieve? What do you want to bring to the world? What are your talents? And what are your clients looking for? And really keep up to date with that, because maybe that's shifted. I'm seeing a big shift towards people wanting more connection, more community, more understanding, and more of a personal approach. And then seeing how you align those two things, and what has changed, so you can perhaps tweak the way you do your business a little bit, or find new opportunities to that match in with your values and your purpose, and still serve your clients in ways that are really meaningful for them right now. So it's not just about driving forward with the business, but really creating that connection and meaning. And that is so important now. But I think that is for me, that's the biggest business principle that people miss, because it doesn't necessarily feel like business connecting with people, but business is always about people.
Yes, yes, you're right. I mean, it's if you don't have people, you don't have a business. So you're absolutely right. You mentioned value proposition. Can you explain that for the audience?
Yeah, this is it was very interesting. I have a lot of conversations with entrepreneurs, and creating that strong value proposition is something that I'm very focused on. With I have a background in design, communications, marketing, business strategy, and leadership, and all of that comes down to your value proposition, which is what and it's aligned to and very similar to your brand promise. So what is it that you stand for in the marketplace effectively? And a lot of companies that I speak to, and I ask them, first of all, what's your value proposition? What's your unique selling proposition? What do you mean for people? And they're like, oh, well, my business is all about, and they talk about them. And that's not your value proposition. Your value proposition is what you offer to your clients. So what do your clients get as a result of working with you or buying your products? So how will their world be different or better or more effective, or how can they do things uh, more easily or more cheaply as a result of working with you? That is your value proposition.
Wow. Um, I'm going to ask a question that I ask all coaches that call into the show. And the reason I do it is because, as you know, we have everybody, that's a coach. A lot of people drop coach in front of their name, and you just have all these different coaches. Can you explain, one, why did you decide to call yourself a coach, and what makes your coaching technique different than any other coach?
Great question. And I think from my approach to business coaching, and I think most business coaches would fall into this category, it's not coaching in the same sense as perhaps executive coaching or life coaching, because coaching helps you to bring out the best in who you already are. So we definitely do that, bring out that inner CEO that's already within you, and help you have that rock solid self-belief, so you have that courage to live out your dreams. But with business coaching, you don't necessarily already know the answers. Most businesses are amazing practitioners. They may be an amazing hairdresser or carpenter, but the business skills they don't have, the business frameworks, the business perspectives. So we have to teach you that. So we do a certain amount of training and teaching and mentoring as well, helping you build those connections. So personally, I feel that business coaching is a little bit different to other forms of coaching, because we will give you advice, which I know most coaches won't do that. We will guide you. We will give you tools and templates and everything to help you take those next steps in business. So I think that form of coaching, it's a little bit unique in that way. It doesn't necessarily adhere to the rules that most other forms of coaching have. And why I personally came into coaching was, well, it was a bit of a personal journey, really. I've learned in business that where you start is never where you end up,
Yeah.
because you learn so much more about yourself. As you discover that you can figure things out, that you actually can do this thing called business, you start to bit by bit broaden your vision, and you get to see where you can use your talents in new ways to help other people. And when I started my business 13 years ago, I started out as a communication coach and consultant, really working with Fortune 500 companies and leaders, and the UN. I'm fortunate to live not far from Geneva, so access to the UN and lots of great NGOs is on my doorstep. So I worked a lot with them, but what I found as I was, well, when I started 13 years ago, was there wasn't much of a network for entrepreneurs. When I worked in corporate, I'd established a women's network to help bring women together to discuss the challenges that are holding people back, find new ideas, start pushing the culture to be different. In Geneva and Switzerland, it's not quite as gender balanced as we might like, particularly back then. And I love that, and I love bringing role models into to help people dream bigger, create a bigger vision, and feel that, yeah, I can do that too. I just need to take this step, then that step. But when I started my own business, I was kind of like, well, where is everyone? They've all disappeared. So I found it a bit of a struggle. It was very lonely, and I definitely felt isolated. I live in a country where well, at that time, I didn't speak the local language very well. I had two small babies. I didn't have a support network. So yeah, it was a really, really tough time. But bit by bit, I built out that network, and I started to find other people who had their own businesses. And I particularly related to the women because they too were juggling a family and a business, and husbands who were traveling all over the place, and all these different things. So I found a nice little tribe. But what I found a lot with these women was that although they had amazing skills and they got incredible results for their clients, as I mentioned earlier, they didn't have that business savvy, if you like, for this podcast. They didn't really understand how to build a business, how to own a business, how to be a CEO and show up as
Wow.
that leader, even if it was just themselves. And that's where I saw that I could bring all of my expertise and experience would be perfect to help them build out those frameworks, to build a solid foundation for their business so that they can confidently sell themselves, to talk about the value that they bring to their clients, to start onboarding those clients and taking them on a great journey that was built in a way that felt authentic to that business owner. So that's when I made the pivot. So about 5 years ago, it felt right. The timing was right to make a move and do something different. And seeing those women, I thought, right, that's where I'm going to start. And honestly, it's been the best move I've made in my business. I love it.
Wow. I love what you said about how to be a business. We have so many people that want to be an entrepreneur, want to have their business, and they go get a DBA, or they think, okay, oh, okay, I need to be LLC, but they don't know how to be a business besides getting a name, getting a logo, getting a website. So, I mean, that is, that's just such a powerful statement. And with saying that, what can an entrepreneur or future entrepreneur need to know when they want to go on this journey? These are some of the things that you need to not only prepare yourself for, but to research to kind of get yourself to that point, whether that's, looking for a coach, looking for a mentor, understanding your industry. So what do they need to really look for to know how to be a business?
Mm, great question. Gosh, how to answer that in a short sentence. So I think the start point is really to understand who you are. And I was watching, I don't know if you know masterclass.com, but I was watching the one with RuPaul, and I loved it. And he said one sentence that has really stuck with me. And he said, it's really hard to be confident if you don't know who you are.
Mm,
And as a business, you have to be confident. If you're not confident in what you're offering, then no one else is going to be. You have to have that unshakable belief in you, even if it's not you personally, but you as an offer, as a service. You have to believe that that is the right thing for your client. And if you don't know who you are or what that offer is exactly and how exactly it helps people, you're never going to have that confidence. So that's really my start point with all of my clients. In fact, even if they've been in business for quite a while, is to just take that step back and really reflect on who are they exactly as a company. What exactly is it that they're offering? And coming back to that value proposition as well, that's so powerful to really nail that before you move forward with anything else. As you say, understanding the industry you're in is key, because every industry has slightly different rules. And it's like if you're trying to play Monopoly on a Scrabble board, you're not going to get very far. So
Right. Right.
you want to understand the rules of your particular game, but also to recognize that your clients don't know how to work with and this is where the CEO part comes in. I see a lot of people who end up creating themselves another job because they are responding to what their clients are asking of them, instead of saying, no, that's not the best way to get results. This is how I work. This is how I've learned gets better results. This is how I want to show up. These are the hours that I work. This is when I'm available. And really deciding what you want to be offering and how you're going to be doing your business and mapping that process out. And it's a bit scary because you're going to a client and saying, well, I'm only going to work with you if we work on my terms this way. But I've seen it time and time again with my clients that once they do that, the clients are like, oh, thank goodness, I have no idea what I'm doing. So the fact that you've come in and said, this is how we're going to work, this is how it's going to go, this is what I need from you, this is what I'm going to do, this is the results we're going to get, just that clarity is so powerful, and clients love it. So it can take a bit of courage and a lot of thinking to get that process right. But when you do, then you can show up with confidence, because you're really being yourself and bringing the best of yourself to the best of your clients. And to recognize that not all clients are going to be your dream clients, and to really focus in on that. I think that's another big mistake. I mean, most of the clients I speak to, or potential clients, I was like, well, what's your goal right now? And they always like, it's like a knee-jerk reaction: more clients. I need more clients. Like, you probably don't need more clients. You probably need better clients, people who value what you do, pay you what you're worth, and pay you on time, and that you really enjoy working with and you can do your best work for. And focusing on getting more of those clients, because the other ones, you can't serve them profitably. And particularly if you're a solo entrepreneur, if you're working with the wrong clients, it can destroy your mindset, and that's a real killer in business. So you really want to work on having the right clients that you're servicing the right way, in a way that's profitable and enjoyable, and then it's happy.
Right. What would you say to someone that, you know, they, they're going through business, or they've had, have these clients, like you say, it may not be your best client, and you're not realizing that. I always say sometimes we got to take time to step back. Let's just, drop everything, step away for a moment, take a breath, and, come back refreshed. And, one, you can start seeing some things that you maybe didn't see before, or you may start realizing, like, okay, like you said, this may not be my right client. Maybe I need to refer them to, someone else. What do you say about that, of someone knowing when to step back, take a breath, and, come back refreshed?
Yeah, absolutely. And I always try and keep some time free in my diary every month. I take, like, if it's not half a week, it's a full week, to make sure that I have that space to take that step back, and anything that isn't working, anything that doesn't feel right, anything that just feels too difficult,
Right.
that's usually a sign of there's something needs to change there, and to take that time. And also, coming back to what you were saying earlier, to have someone by your side. So maybe it's a trusted person within your network that can help you see your blind spots, or can bounce ideas with you, or having a coach or a mentor or someone else, because it's really hard to spot those blind spots yourself, and to be objective. It's almost impossible. I mean, no one succeeds in business on their own. You always need some kind of support, or some kind of it may just be your partner, if you're lucky. I mean, most partners don't know what you're going through starting a business. I know my husband is very, very supportive, but when it comes to my business, he doesn't necessarily understand what I'm going through, or what that
Absolutely.
process should be like, which is where I have a business coach. Being a business coach, I value business coaching, so I'm never without a business coach myself, and having them by my side is just invaluable, because they're always challenging you to be better, challenging you on those things that you're where you're wasting time. Well, that's not, why are you doing that? That hasn't been working for ages. And they can really pull you up on things, push you to be better, support you, encourage you in all the right ways. And that's so important to have that. And yeah, it's great if you can afford to have a business coach. Most business coaches would be an investment, and you can find one that matches your level of business. But if you're not at a point where you can invest the time and resources in a business coach, then find someone in your network who is there to support you, and you can support them in return. And it's a very hard process to do on your own, but definitely I would recommend people do it on at least a monthly basis, to take that breath, as you say, and just look at, well, what's working,
Yeah.
what isn't working, what needs to be improved, what needs to be dropped. And then you're always going to be building an efficient business that's fun to be in, because it has to be fun, right? Otherwise there's no
Right.
point.
Right. Right. On your bio, you mentioned cracking the confidence code.
Mm,
What is that, and how can you crack that code?
with time, I think. Confidence, I was always labeled a shy girl growing up, and I was never particularly confident necessarily. I grew quite competent in my role in business, and that very much helped me. But when it came to things like networking and public speaking, and getting out there and being visible as a business owner, that was quite a long journey that I had to go on. But what I've learned is that confidence isn't something that we have necessarily. It's something that we build. It's something that comes after. So I might go into a networking event and I may not be confident, but having had that experience and enjoyed that experience, and going away, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I could do that. And then bit by bit, you're building that confidence. And confidence doesn't come from knowing what you're doing, or knowing you can do something well or at all. It comes from knowing you can figure it out. So having survived some networking events, then I know, okay, I still may feel a bit nervous going into this event, but I know I can figure it out. I know I'll have at least one conversation that feels nice, that, and something, and definitely with public speaking, I've been working on that for a long time, and I started a Toastmasters group. And I remember when I started the group, I had to show up every week and speak. Otherwise, no one knew what it was all about, and no one else would, because it was a new club. But I remember I'd been doing it every 2 weeks. I've been standing up and speaking in front of the audience,
Mhm.
and 18 months, my later my evaluation was, oh, this is the first time you haven't gone red. So even though I was there, I was doing it, building that confidence and not going red, still took time. So I think that's really the confidence code, is that confidence comes after the event and not before, and it takes time to build it. So look for some ways to start pushing outside your comfort zone, and even if it's got nothing to do with business, to do something that proves to you that you can figure things out. And that will, even if it's doing sort of like learning skiing for the first time, for example, she says looking out over the Alps covered in snow at the minute, you know, figuring that out will give you a certain amount of confidence that you can bring into other areas of your life, including your business. So it doesn't need to be business confidence you're building. It's any kind of confidence will help you elsewhere, but you have to maintain that because confidence is dynamic. It's not always there. You can't do a networking event, rock it, and then 5 years later do another one and expect to still have that same confidence. It doesn't work like that. You have to maintain those things. So try and do something all the time, even in small, tiny ways, to push outside your confidence comfort zone, to learn new things and keep learning and growing. Have that growth mindset, which is so important in business anyway.
Right. And having that growth mindset, that's where if you have that confidence, it is going to push you to not only keep learning, but like you say, just, keep going outside that comfort zone. And the more we push and we push and we push outside of that comfort zone, we continuously grow. And for the things we thought, oh, I would never be doing this, or I can't see myself doing this thing. And before you know it, 3-4 years later, you're doing exactly what that is, and you're doing it very well, right?
Yeah.
So that takes us to our next thing, which is success mindset. So building the confidence, growing, that's what's going to get you not only to success, but being in that mindset. And I think the mindset is so important, because if you don't have it, who else will?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the success mindset isn't necessarily meaning that you have that big fancy car and that huge house with a pool. It's that you're meeting your goals, that you're becoming the person that you want to be,
Yeah,
and making sure that you're relating that success to your inner goals, what
right.
really drives and motivates you. And this is why it's so important not to compare yourself to other people, because everyone's got a different feeling of what success really means to them. So if you're comparing yourself to someone else, then you're trying to achieve their goals and their success on their level, which doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's really to focus in on what you're trying to achieve, what gives you fulfillment, what gives you joy, what makes you feel accomplished, and focus in on that. And once you do, then again, it builds your confidence, and you will find you really stop comparing yourself to anyone else, and you just start to celebrate other people's achievements, because you realize that they've put in the effort to reach their goals, and that's fantastic. And that recognition really builds that nice positive mindset. And also understanding that failure is just information. When things don't go according to plan, which you have to get used to, because as an entrepreneur, they very often don't go
Absolutely.
according to plan.
Absolutely.
But it's just information that's going to help you understand that concept or that situation more, and it's going to help fuel your next success. I really believe you learn so much more from your failures than you ever do from what goes right first time. So to really embrace that, and if things go wrong, or if you've failed in some way, or you haven't hit your goal, just take that step back and say, well, fascinating, what happened there? Why? Or even if it did go right, why did that go right? Why did that go right and that didn't? And what's the link here, and what's the learning? And just keep using every opportunity to learn.
Wow, absolutely. That is so important. I mean, we should never stop learning, regardless of how long we've been in business. If we feel, okay, I'm a certain age, I'm good. As long as you're here, we should always learn something new and listen to some, the good advice that people are offering, and just keep pushing ourselves out of those comfort zones.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, take a look at Richard Branson. If you ever see a picture of Richard Branson at an event, he's always there listening, taking notes. I
mm,
mean, everyone looks at him for guidance, but he is still learning. He's still open and listening to what other people are doing, and getting inspired by that as well. So, if Richard is still learning, then we must do that too.
yeah, and I think that's a good point. I mean, someone that we may look up to for advice, or for those, boosts to give us a little extra motivation. they can actually learn from you. Even though you may feel, okay, well, I'm not on this person's level, or I haven't traveled or been on the stages this person has been on, they can listen to you just in a one-on-one conversation, and you may say something, they'd be like, oh, that's a good idea, or that's a good point. So you never know who's listening and who can take something from what you're offering. So
Yeah,
just always keep your mind open, that just because you're talking to somebody that's, traveled, been on all these stages, and you haven't done one stage, don't let that be a something that makes you not feel that you don't have anything to offer.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it's even just helping them recognize how far they've come on their journey. They can
Right.
see that distance. It's like that reflection can be very valuable for them too. So there's always, yeah, something of value that you can offer to others around you in at any stage, as you say.
Absolutely. Um, let's talk about deliver, profit, and time.
Mm.
I was reading your bite and I saw that, and as a entrepreneur, we know, okay, we got to deliver this product or this service. And that's our mindset. Okay, let's deliver, let's sell this, deliver these things. So not only your profit is also the quality of your product and service,
Yeah.
and time is, of course, that's a broader statement, but I'll let you kind of explain and go into that statement of deliver and profit. What is it? And if we're not really doing that, or don't have a strategy to do that with every single client that we have, how can they get there?
Yeah, this comes back a little bit to what we were saying earlier about don't just chase more clients, chase better clients, clients that you can deliver an exceptional service to and enjoy it, and who are profitable to
Right.
deliver to you. Because what you often find in a business, when I go in and do a business assessment, you'll find that 20% of the clients are covering the costs of 80%. So the top tier clients are underwriting the bottom tier clients who
Right. Right.
are very needy. They are expensive to serve. They don't necessarily value what you're doing. They take way too much time and attention because they're not the right clients for you. Whereas you've got these dream clients who don't need so much of your they don't waste so much of your time, but you can really serve them in more valuable ways with your attention. So
Right.
if your attention is distracted by these lower level clients, then you're not able to deliver the kind of service you want for your top tier clients, and then they don't become loyal either because you're not serving them in the best way, and then you're leaving yourself open to another competitor come up and say and deliver and offer a better quality service to your top tier clients, and then you're at risk. So you want to be making sure that you're always looking in at how can you better serve your top tier clients and get rid of the bottom ones that are just time wasters and draining your resources. So those that you can serve profitably and have the courage to find ways of adapting your service so you're just no longer attractive to those
Right.
that you
Right.
can't serve so well, because there is another company out there who will be able to serve them much better and at a way that's profitable for them. So there's a perfect client for every business. So once you can serve the right clients, then you can start really getting more efficiency into your business, and you can have more of the time freedom to choose where you put that time and effort and resources from your
Right.
business as well into serving them better, or taking the time and building the team as well. So a lot of CEOs are very successful, like they have a successful company, it's turning over a great profit, they've got a nice flow of clients, but they are their wife doesn't recognize them, and that's really not much of a life either. So you really want to keep that balance so that you have time for what's important for your life as well, and you can also have that time with your family, your friends, your partner, which is really important. I mean, that's what life's all about, is that those connections and those important moments. So what you need to do is make sure that you have the right team in place, that you've got the right leadership structures, the right incentives, that you have right communication, so everybody is working towards the same goals, that it's a nice collaborative environment. So once you have this internal structures right as well, so that the team can perform at their best levels and don't need more of your time than necessarily. I mean, you don't want to be micromanaging and putting out fires the whole time, which most CEOs end up doing. But once you have a bit more perspective and the right systems, you can serve people internally better too, which gives you more time freedom as well. And it's all about the right systems, the right balance, the right focus, and one of the keys for doing that is taking that regular step back to see what's working and what can be better, to bring in external pairs of eyes that can really help you to see where things can be streamlined and better, and then you have much more profit within your business and more, and you enjoy it more too.
Wow, that's really great point of view. And I hope everyone's that's listening to this, that they've been jotting notes throughout this entire conversation, because I mean, you've relayed so many crucial tips, points, and things that just, regular things that an entrepreneur business owner should follow with getting started, and if you are already, established business. And that's, thank you for sharing, that in advice. Let's talk about your book. You said that you're an author. So let's get in, talk a little bit about your book before we get out of here, and let people know, where they can purchase it, and what benefit they would get from purchasing your book.
So I'm in the process of writing a series of books, which will be out hopefully next year. But the book I have out at the moment is called The Power of Why, and it was really a collaboration. So about 18 months ago, I was on a summit with a group of women, all about how to create a solid business that's profitable, that brings you joy, all of this. But what we found was that about half the women that signed up for this summit were wanting to start a business, but never taking that first step. For one reason or another. It wasn't the right time, they weren't the right kind of person, which is all, as we know, complete rubbish. You just need to get started, and you find the time, and you discover there is no right kind of person. You just have to muddle on through, or get the help you need, or there's always a way. So we found that there was at least 50% of the women from the conference who were still on the fence about starting their business. And we thought, well, let's share our experiences. So there was 23 of us, all from different walks of life, from all around the world, from Australia, America, India, UK, Europe. So very different backgrounds, very different perspectives, but with one thing in common, is that we started our business. There was some moment where we thought, well, we just have to go for it. And so we shared that, and then we shared what that reality was like. And so to help people, one, to feel that there's a story in there for everybody. And I think it's not just helpful for those starting a business, but starting in any kind of project where you're thinking, oh, can I really do this? Which is like the big hidden fear behind everything we do, is like,
Right.
am I good? Can I really do this? So it's really to give people that insight, that inspiration to take that next step in whatever it is. If it's starting a new business, launching a new product, starting moving abroad, whatever that project may be, to give them the inspiration and the courage to take that next step, and to know that whatever happens, you'll figure it out.
Right. Wow. The power of why. That the why is why we do so many different things that we do, and why we are so successful with what we do. And once you find that and you act on it, we can't just say, oh, okay, I know what my why is. You have to act on that why, and move forward with that. So again, thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Let everyone know how they can reach you, get in contact with you, your website.
Yeah. So when I started my business, I was umming and ahhing for ages, like, what can I call my business? It has to be something that represents me, something that's unique, different. And then I was at a dinner party and someone said, well, how can I find you? And I said, well, type Melitta Campbell into anything and you'll find me. I'm the only one. And then I was like, oh, okay, there's my name.
Oh, okay.
So Melitta Campbell, type it into Google, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you hang out, type in my name and you'll find me.
Wow, that's kind of, unique to be able to just type your name in without being a whole lot of other people. So that's a great tool, to be so unique with your name.
Yeah,
Um,
my father is very proud.
wow. Well, thank you again for coming on, and I truly enjoyed this conversation with you, and I hope again everyone that watches this podcast do the same, is take your notes and get all the things that you can from Melitta, and please reach out, purchase her book, The Power of Why, and reach out to her on social media. Thank you
Yep,
again.
great. Thanks, Melissa.